for them to be willing to go back and do a rematch for the fans, this time on a much bigger stage. That shows a lot of heart from both fighters and also from Golden Boy and Tycoon Promotions for putting that fight together. So it's going to be a great show. I want to start now by introducing some of the principals involved in the show. First, as the host for the show and a great partner, I'd like to bring up Nick from the forum.
Hello, everybody. I'm Nick Spampanato. I'm the general manager of the forum, and I'd like to welcome you all to the press conference for Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez versus Carlos Principe Cuadras. It's coming here to the Fabulous Forum on September 10th. Tom bit some of my lines, took some of my lines, so excuse me if we double up here. Today you'll be hearing from Chocolatito, Principe, Jesus Soto Cuadras, K2's Tom LOEFFLER, Eric Gomez of Golden Boy Promotions, and Akiko Honda of Tycoon Promotions. As many of you know, our venue has a robust boxing history dating back to the 1960s. Legends including Muhammad Ali, Ken Norton, Oscar De La Hoya, Tommy Hearns, and many, many more have all thrilled fans here. We are proud to continue that tradition with the gentlemen up on this dais today. Since we reopened in 2014, we've seen some outstanding fights here. Juan Manuel Marquez continued his undefeated run over Mike Alvarado. We hosted 2 electrifying Gennady Triple J Golovkin fights, including his most recent knockout of Dominic Wade. And of course, Chocolatito has shown who he is, the consensus #1 pound-for-pound fighter. I'd like to take a moment to welcome Chocolatito and everyone at HBO, K2, and Golden Boy back to the forum, and welcome for the first time Tycoon Promotions, Principe, Jesus Soto Cuadras, and to the fighters. Good luck, everybody.
Thank you, Nick. I can't stress enough how integral the forum has been in making this show possible. Not only do you need the television, but you need the right type of venue and arena, but the right type of partner in making this fight happen. So Nick, I'd really like to thank you for making this possible. I'd like to introduce, not only do you need the arena, but you need a commission to oversee the bout. First and foremost, as we stress with every one of the promotions, is the safety and the health of all the participants in the show. And to oversee that, I want to introduce Martha Shen Uruguay-Cadis from the California State Athletic Commission.
We are very, very excited to have this event here in California on HBO and at the Fantastic Forum, where the greatest of the great Muhammad Ali fought, and Kenny Norton and Julio Cesar Chavez, Oscar De La Hoya, to name a few of the legends. We've worked really very, very hard to bring some of these large events like this one here to California. And in so doing, some of the things we've done, for example, is to work with our friends ComScore to figure out some of the demographics of how to bring some of these large events here. And some of the results were not particularly surprising, but some of the results were very surprising. For example, in some of these large events, California will carry over 30% of the Hispanic Latino viewership. So when you consider the viewership and then you consider the ticket sales, all the way down to the halo effect, meaning the hotel sales, down to the fuel sales, the merchandising, is very important to our local business people, to the boxing fans, the local boxing fans, the national boxing fans, and the international boxing fans. So it is events precisely like this one, where you have the king of pound-for-pound fighters, Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez, and then our champion, Mr. Cuadras, who is 35-0 with 27 knockdowns, that our viewers are demanding. So we are very excited. We thank you, and we thank Golden Boy for the co-main event, and we thank everyone here for coming and for this event on behalf of the commission. we thank the fans, and let's have a safe and successful event. And buena suerte a todos. Thank you.
Thank you, Martha. I really have to give a lot of credit to Martha and especially Andy Foster from the California Commission. They really make it easy to promote fights, or at least to work together to make a successful event, at the same time placing the highest priority for the safety and the health of the boxers. So it makes these type of shows a lot easier to put together on a logistic basis. Now, as I alluded to with the television partner and our host broadcaster, you know, without HBO, a show like this wouldn't be possible. Peter Nelson, who I've known now for really almost about the same time I started working with Triple G. Luckily for Triple G, Peter came on board at HBO because that's really how he got his break. And I have to be honest, that's how Ramon got his break on HBO. Because Peter had the foresight and the creativity to put on these faces that might not have been very familiar with the American public, but you see as with Gennady and with Chocolatito, with the exposure on HBO, all of a sudden they're at the top of the sport of boxing, not only in the boxing skills that they display in the ring, but also in the marketability. It's going to be a triple header on HBO. Peter can give more of the exact details, but we found one more way to combine Triple G and Chocolatito, considered the two best pound-for-pound fighters in the sport, on one show. Even though Triple G's fighting in London, it'll still be for the HBO viewers on the same telecast, with Triple G's fight being shown live, then the replay starting the evening broadcast, then Soto Cross versus Kamagai, and then actually the main event. So, representing HBO, I'd like to bring up Peter Nelson.
Thank you, Tom, and thank you for putting together this transcontinental juggernaut of a promotion between Gennady Golovkin fighting over in the UK the same night that Ramon Gonzalez is going to fight against Cuadras here at the Forum. It's probably one of the only times in HBO history where in the span of a year a fighter fought on the undercard of someone else's show, when Ramon fought as Gennady's undercard, and then when, as Tom mentioned, when we show the replay, we'll be showing Gennady live, and then we'll be showing the replay first, and then Ramon's fight to end the night, meaning that Gennady will then become Ramon's undercard. So I want to thank a number of people, but I think first and foremost, I really want to thank the media. Tom can be very generous in giving me credit for various things, but at the end of the day, it's the fighters themselves, the work that they do, and developing their careers to a point where the media really takes notice. And it's when you guys go and you say, you know what, a fighter had 40 fights in Mexico, Nicaragua, and Japan, and he seems to actually be a top 5 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. And he is an undefeated fighter, but in addition to that, Ramon Gonzalez isn't just an undefeated fighter, he's earned that 0. And there's a lot of ways of becoming an undefeated fighter in boxing. There are matchmakers in this room right now who could get my older sister to be 20-0 if it was so desired. To earn it is a different thing. And the glory of the sport has always been at a time when fighters were willing to take risks. And in order to take risks, you can't be concerned about shielding an undefeated record. You have to want to stake it and put it on the line. That's why fans and the media have rallied, I agree, rally around Ramon Gonzalez and the talent that he's displayed. That's why we give great credit to a great champion like Carlos Cuadras for stepping up to a challenge like this. That's why we don't care how many wins or losses Yoshihiro Kamagai and Jesus Soto Cross have. All we care about is the quality of the competition. And it's you and the media who again and again have stepped up and said, those are the things that we care about. We care about whether or not the fighters are the real deal, and we care about the quality, the authenticity of the competition itself. And so I give great credit to Tom Loeffler for putting together an event of this magnitude. I give great credit to Mr. Honda. Mr. Honda, I have to say, he's not here today, but You know, when I first started in boxing, someone said to me, in this sport, you will meet some of the most dishonorable people. And that's true, but what they don't tell you is that you also meet some of the most honorable people in the world. And Mr. Honda is some of the most honorable people in the world. When Mr. Honda points at the sun and tells me it's raining outside, I go get an umbrella. And a man like that has done so much for this sport. The Kamagai Soto Cross fight wouldn't have been possible without Golden Boy Promotions. Give great credit to Oscar De La Hoya and everyone on his team in working together to make sure that the best fight the best. Oscar has stated this again and again as one of his missions, and we're privileged to be a partner with Golden Boy on events like this. So, in saying all that, I also would be remiss if I didn't mention the good folks at the forum. Nick, thank you, Joel Fisher, and Irving Azoff. You know, it's cliche to say it this way, but that guy makes dreams come true. And it's the great commitment that the folks at MSG and the forum have made to our sport that puts great fights and turns them into great events by putting them in great venues. And it was someone from the forum who contacted me when we were trying to figure out the different dates where this fight could work, and said, this fight has to be at the forum. And I said, yeah, it would be a good fight to have at the forum. He said, no, you don't understand, because in addition to the fights that Tom mentioned, like Carbajal, or the fights that Martha mentioned, like Oscar and Muhammad Ali, one of the great fighters that passed through the doors of the forum was Alexis Arguello, one of the great Nicaraguan champions. And Ramon Gonzalez in this fight is challenging for his 4th divisional title at super flyweight, which would break the divisional record for a Nicaraguan fighter that Alexis Arguello set at 3. And this is the inheritance of Alexis Arguello's legacy. And Carlos Cuadras has on the line fighting to try to upset Ramon Gonzalez and become known as one of the top pound-for-pound fighters in the world. We couldn't be more thrilled to be part of this event. Our start time on Saturday night for the beginning of this portion of the telecast after the live broadcast of the Golovkin-Brook fight is 10 p.m., 7 p.m. Pacific time, and we look forward to seeing you all there on September the 10th. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Peter. As we try to do with every show that we promote is just provide value to the fans. We've priced the tickets very reasonably, tried to put on the best fighters in the ring and the best competition. And with that, I have to give a lot of credit for the co-feature, the Golden Boy, and with Mr. Honda, representing Sotocross and Kamagai, and it's a fight that I know many people are looking forward to fighting. So we're privileged to have that as the co-feature. So representing Golden Boy Promotions, I'd like to bring up Robert Gaspar.
Hi, everybody. I'd like to thank first everybody attending today. I see a lot of my Golden Boy team out there, so great seeing everybody. I'm proud to speak today on behalf of Oscar and Golden Boy about a great fight, and this fight is for the fight fans. Yoshiko Kamagai and Soto Cuadras 2 is presented by Golden Boy Promotions and Mr. Honda's Take On Promotions. I have to say, we did the fight. It was 2016 Fight of the Year this past year. It was candidate for Fight of the Year, and it was at the Belasco Theater, and it was an unbelievable fight. This was an amazing fight, and the rematch is going to be unbelievable at the Forum here in Los Angeles. The 10-round super welterweight fight will be the co-main event world championship clash between WC featherweight champion Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez and undefeated WBC flyweight world champion Carlos Cuadras. We always talk about it's on HBO World Championship Boxing. The fight ended at the Belasco Theater in a split decision. This was an all-out brawl. We opened up special viewing rooms and additional staff for the people that came in to watch this fight. The expectations coming into this fight from Kamagai from Japan and Soto Cuadras from Mexico, there was a lot of weight on their shoulders coming in, and the fans weren't disappointed. It was an absolute brawl. People loved it. And I have to give credit for both fighters to come out and to do the rematch. It's attested to both of them on what they've done. I want to thank HBO, Peter, for giving us the opportunity and the fans to put this fight on for September 10th. And I'd like to thank again Mr. Honda and Take On Promotions for helping us put together this fight. And we look forward to working with Mr. Honda in more fights in the future. Lastly, I'd like to thank Tom and K2 Promotions. Thanks, Tom, for everything, for letting us be part of this event. And I'd like to also thank Soto. I want to make some mentions to Soto Cuadras' managers, Francisco Espinoza, I think you're out there somewhere, and Sergio Diaz. And thank you guys for putting this all together. I want to introduce Soto Cuadras. He's fighting out of Los Angeles. Soto Cuadras faced numerous world champions and contenders in his 15 years career. I mean, this reads a who's who of boxing. He fought Keith One-Time Thurman, Andre Berto, Marcos Maidana, Devin the Great Alexander, Yuri Foreman, Gabriel Rosado, Salik Gadan, David Estrada. These are some heavy-duty names. And Soto Cuadras had great fights in all of them. He's a former NABF and WBC Continental Americas champion who has been throwing boxing fans since his debut in 2001. Owner of wins over Vince Phillips, David Estrada, Salik Gadan, and Andre Berto, Soto Cuadras is an aggressive puncher who can handle himself against any fighter willing to step into the ring and face him. A former world title challenger, Soto Cuadras knows that a win over Kamagai is helped his career, and it's going to continue. He's having a lot of great fights for the fans. With a record of 28, 10-4, with 18 knockouts, please give a warm welcome to Jesus Soto Cuadras. Robert Diaz is going to register.
Hola, no, pues muy buenas tardes a todos, muchas gracias por venir. Quiero darle las gracias a Dios, a Golden Boy, a mi manager, a Honda por esta gran oportunidad.
First off, thank you everybody for being here. I want to thank God. I want to thank my management team. I want to thank Golden Boy and also Mr. Honda for this opportunity to do it again.
Me siento muy honrado de pelear en esta cartelera de todos, que son dos campeones. Chocolatito Gonzalez, Carlos Cuadras, un paisano. Me siento muy honrado y muy honrado de pelear aquí en el foro. De que me pelea con Yoshiro Kamegai, pues lo mismo que vieron el día 15, nomás ahora un poco más inteligente de lo que van a ver. Van a ver una guerra entre un guerrero azteca contra un kamikaze japonés.
I'm really honored to be a part of this card, to be fighting the co-main event with such great talent, such great champions like Roman Gonzalez, and also my countryman, the champion, Carlos Cuadras. And what can I say? You're going to see the same. You're going to see the same you saw on the 15th, the Mexican warrior facing a Japanese kamikaze who comes forward.
Nada, nomás no se pierdan este día de septiembre esta pelea, ya sea por televisión o toda la gente que se reúne aquí en el foro. Vamos a dar gran espectáculo. De mi parte voy a dejar la mesa caliente para mi paisano Cuadras contra el Chocolatito González. Va a haber mucha emoción ese día 10 de septiembre. Muchas gracias a todos por venir.
And just in closing, please, I invite you all to come out, whether you're watching it on TV on HBO or to come to the forum. You're going to see a war. I'm going to leave that ring very hot for Chocolatito and for my countryman, Carlos Cuadras. I will leave it ready for them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jesus and Robert for that. It's really a great co-feature, a great addition to the show. Mauricio Suleiman sends his regards. He's the president of the WBC. He was scheduled to be here today. He had to take a trip back to Mexico. He was in Las Vegas, and he was going to come here to Los Angeles, but he had to fly back to Mexico to attend to some business. So he sends his regards, and he says he's so proud of his two WBC champions. This is the type of fight where you have one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world challenging, as Peter said, in his 4th division, trying to make history against an undefeated champion in that division who's proud to defend his title. And these are the type of fights that the fans respond to, the media should respond to. When you add up the undefeated records on this HBO broadcast between Triple G and Kell Brook and Carlos Cuadras and Roman Gonzalez, I mean, it's, I don't even know what the number is, but it's 4 undefeated. All are champions in their own right, they're in their own divisions, and it's pure boxing skill at the highest level. So with that, I'd like to introduce the challenger for the 115-pound WBC title. I'd like to introduce his manager, Carlos Blondon, who can then bring up Roman Gonzalez.
Good afternoon to everybody. Primarily want to thank God, first and foremost. K2 Promotions, HBO, Taken Promotions, Honda Kaitro, Akemi, Nobu, Nick, all the Taken family for giving this opportunity. This is something that Roman and a lot of us Nicaraguans have dreamt for, an opportunity to fight for a 4th title. We all know that Alexis Arguello, like Peter mentioned, fought here at the Forum and tried twice against Aaron Pryor to win a 4th title. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to. And as a matter of fact, last time was 1982. I'm 34 years old, so that means that it really means a lot to us to have this opportunity after 34 years now to fight for a 4th title. And this wouldn't be possible if it weren't for God and for everybody being such a good sport about it, and Mr. Honda giving us the opportunity to fight a great champion, which is Carlos Cuadras. And like Tom has mentioned, and we've all mentioned, you know, that's what boxing is really about. And that's what Roman has brought to the plate, and that's what we're all trying to see. Boxers fight the best boxers out there, to put their undefeated on the line, to not be cherry pickers, to be boxers that we really want to see who's the best. And that's what Roman's out there. He got asked a lot about why he's moving up to 115. He's not having weight problems. He can do 112, but he wants to fight the best. The best right now at 115 is the WBC champion, Carlos El Príncipe Cuadras, which is from Taken, and we have a lot of love for him. And we have a lot of respect, and for his trainer, Rudy. They know that. But coming September 10th, we're going to go after that title. And God willing, we'll bring it back to Nicaragua. Thank you very much.
Muy buenas a todos. Motivado, feliz. Gracias a SPO, a Taken, a mi amigo Carlos que me dio la oportunidad de pelear un 4º título y pues motivado. Vengo en las mejores condiciones para hacer un buen trabajo. Gracias.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you to God, to Taken Promotions, HBO, to K2, to his friend Carlos Cuadras to give him the opportunity to fight for a 4th title. He feels very blessed with this opportunity to be the main event, and he wants to thank everybody and hopes to see everybody out there September 10th. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlos. I have to say, Carlos Blondon has done a terrific job managing Chocolatito. He's a folk hero in his country of Nicaragua, and to manage all the demands when he goes home or during the training camp, he's really done a terrific job ever since, you know, Carlos been involved. It was the first fight that we did with Roman, and it's a pleasure to work with Carlos. So appreciate that. Now I'd like to introduce the champion at 115 pounds. What can you say? Willing to defend his title against clearly the toughest opponent he could face. #1 pound-for-pound fighter, moving up to a 4th division. I'd like to introduce Rudy Hernandez, who I've known for a number of years. His family, his brothers, always give a lot of respect to Chocolatito, who was really a close friend of all of ours. I think I can say that here in the room. And I've been all around the world with Rudy. I respect his boxing knowledge and what he's accomplished in the sport. I'd like to introduce Rudy Hernandez.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to thank everyone for being here, taking the time. And we have a very important fight, September 10th. I'm hoping that everybody can make it and show your love for the sport. We've got 2 of the best 115 pounds fighting each other, and we need more of that. But we also need the public to support these events and show up. Both guys are my friends. We're all taken here, and so may the better man win, and we're training for that to win. Best of luck to everyone.
We'll bring Robert Diaz back up to translate for Carlos. I'd like to introduce WBC 115-pound undefeated world champion, Carlos Cuadras.
¿Qué tal? Buenas tardes a todos. Quiero decir que estoy agradecido primeramente con Dios por esta oportunidad que me presenta, con el señor Honda, con Thank You Promotions, con K2, con todos los que están haciendo posible esta pelea, con HBO, con todos, con Chocolatito por pelear conmigo, por buscar ese título y pues solo quiero decirles que esta pelea va a sacar chispas, va a estar fuerte esta pelea. Este cinturón se va a ir a México, lo siento, Chocolate. Y pues nada más que estén bien pendientes de esta pelea porque va a estar buena. Aparte voy a tener que tomar un chocolatito ese día. Ese cinturón se va a ir para México, así que estén bien pendientes porque esta pelea va a estar buena porque I am strong, I'm fast, and very very handsome, baby.
That was good, campeón. That was muy bueno. He said, I'm gonna knock you out. No, I'm just kidding. He wants to thank God, first and foremost. He wants to thank Mr. Honda, Taken, K2, HBO, all of the media, all the press, everybody here. He wants to thank Chocolatito for coming up and taking this challenge. And he wants to remind everybody that this fight will provide fireworks. It's going to be a war. And that title's coming back to Mexico. He assures you that. And as you all saw, he took a little break to have his Chocolatito. He had hit him. And he wants to remind everybody he's good, he's fast, and he says he's handsome. And he's going to win by knockout.
Thanks, Albert. Thanks, Carlos. Well, you can see the personalities on this show and the talent up here. So with that, I'd like to bring the fighters up. We'll have the face-off. Just want to remind everyone the tickets are on sale right now. We've priced them very reasonably, starting at $25. So we need, again, just urge the public and the fans to support the show and to come out. So Bernie, if you could come up and we'll face off the fighters.
Straight back to the TV first. Jesus. One more time right here, please. Right here. Viva Nicaragua, Chocolatito. Robert? México. Straight back. Thank you, gentlemen. ¡Viva México!